Hi everybody, I'm Sensei Rick, this is Sensei Mike. Today we're going to go over Escrima, also known as Filipino stick fighting. It's a really great art, especially for self-defense and hand-to-hand combat. Now there's some basic things you should know about Escrima. Number one, it's from the Philippines, not from Japan. It's a Filipino art. They do not speak Japanese, they speak Spanish. And a lot of the words are Filipino words, which are kind of like Spanish, but not exactly 100% parallel to the Spanish pronunciation. So this is the Escrima stick, and this is what we'll be using. Now with Escrima, we start with weapons, and then we end up with empty hand. In karate, as you probably know, we start with empty hand, that's what karate means, and you end up with weapons when you do advanced martial arts, like in Ishinru, we have the kabuto, which is the weapons fighting. Now, when you hold the Escrima stick, this represents a sword, but of course we don't want to be practicing the swords because people will get hurt. So we use the stick. Now this isn't the type of stick we normally use. This is actually padded. The stick we usually use is made out of rattan. Rattan is a root that grows in the Philippines, and they cut it to about this size. And it's hard. It's kind of like a stick. If you don't have a stick that you can find about this size, you can always use like a utensil from the kitchen. Sometimes I'll use a spatula, not as long as this, but you can use that to take this place. Or if you have a dowel in the basement, maybe you can cut it to about this size. It does not have to be exactly this size. We'll practice with this size, but we can actually practice with something much shorter. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to work a little bit on the basic strikes or basic angles of attack. They're called the cicateros, 5 basic angles of attack. Now when you hold the stick, you do not want to hold it at the very end. You actually want to hold it about a fist length from the end. This is called the puño. This is for close-in fighting. So if you're using this for combat, you want to be using this for distance striking, and the puño is for close-in fighting. Alright, so we're going to work first on the 5 basic angles of attack. The 5 basic ways people can strike and block. Alright, so you start with the right foot forward, try to copy me. We'll have the stick in the right hand ready to go, left will go here. And we do 5 basic strikes. It looks like this. Collarbone, collarbone, ribs, ribs, thrust. Now this does represent a sword or a knife. If you're carrying a sword or a knife, if you actually hold a sword or a knife, you'll notice that the blade with a natural grip lines up with these knuckles. You always want the blade to go towards the target. So when we do our 5 basic angles, we actually rotate. So the blade is towards the target. And we practice, even though this is not a bladed weapon, we practice it so if we do pick up a sword, we'll naturally know how to use it properly. Once again, we don't use swords when we practice this. We don't use live knives when we practice these techniques because, of course, that wouldn't be very safe. Instead, we use the Escrima sticks, and they work well, and they're a lot of fun to practice with, and no danger involved. Okay, again, so we go collarbone, collarbone, ribs, ribs, thrust. So you can picture against your attacker. I don't know if maybe I'll do it with this. Since I might. All right, so you can just lower your stick so I can show people. Okay, so collarbone, collarbone, ribs, ribs, thrust. Now some people do slightly different, and I do it sometimes as well. Collarbone, collarbone, and then low strike, almost like knee, knee, thrust. Again, remember we're rotating, so the blade will go towards the subject. Okay, so let's try it again, and we want to practice this so it's a natural movement to do. Again, collarbone, collarbone, ribs, ribs, thrust. Now, let's try right foot forward. Collarbone, collarbone, ribs, ribs, thrust. Let's try the other side, left side. This is in neutral position now, striking with the left. Collarbone, collarbone, ribs, ribs, thrust. Switch. Collarbone, collarbone, ribs, ribs, thrust. Left foot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Switch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now some things you want to take note of when you're learning this, practicing this at home. The weapon, of course, is an extension of your arm. What makes a weapon useful in combat is, if you do it properly, of course, the weapon will get to the attacker faster than they get to you because you have the arm extension. Therefore, it's important that you reach out when you do your technique. I see people doing it like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Of course, that would kind of defeat the purpose of the stick. So you want to make sure you're reaching out. 1, see, arms almost straight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. On the other side, again, reaching out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, those are called cingateros, or 5 basic angles of attack. Partner, face your partner and bow. We'll just try right side first. 1, 2, 3, 4, and we thrust in a 5. Now, what we often do is we do a parry with that as well. So it looks like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Person punches and you parry with your stick. So try it again. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. Thrust and parry. Good. Let's try left side. 1, 2, 3, 4. Thrust and parry. Right side. 1, 2, 3, 4. Twist and parry. Good. Okay. So that's a good thing to practice, and it's actually a lot of fun to practice outdoors. And I was going to do this video outside, but it's raining really hard outside, so we don't want to go outside and get wet. That's actually a joke. It's really beautiful out. It's like 70 degrees. But I'll do the next one outside. Find it.
Hi.
Hi.
Hit him in the knee, hit him in the knee.
All over.
Don't just fight the stick. First fight the stick and then hit the person. There you go.
Hi.
Nice head block, Amanda. Make friends with a tree. Your tree is your pal. So you can use your stick or whatever you happen to have against the tree. So let's pretend, let's say something Mike is holding this up as if it's a tree. Just pretend that's like a tree, much thicker. So you just stand there and you go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you stab the tree. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Try the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or if you have a very, very skinny brother or sister, perhaps you can have them stand there and you can practice. No. Sensei Mike thinks that's not a good idea. I guess it's a little bit dangerous. All right. So what you want to do is try to find a target you can practice on over and over again. Now here's the cool thing. You don't have to be using a stick. Let's say I want to practice against a tree empty-handed. So hold the tree up. Thank you. And I can do empty-handed. 1, 2, 3, 4, and thrust in. Same thing on the other side. 1, 2, 3. So what I'm doing in effect is I'm replacing this stick with my hand. My hand has become my stick, so I can do that. And really it's kind of an effective way of practicing for hand-to-hand combat. So I'll show you again. It looks like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I'll show you what happens if you want to do all 5 strikes. So what we were doing is, as you remember, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the right side. We're doing this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the left side. Let's do them both together. A little more complicated, but if you follow along, you probably will be able to do it. Looks like this. 1, cross. 2, uncross. 3, cross. 4, uncross. Thrust, thrust. Again. Starting from the right side. 1, cross. Got to be crossed, otherwise it'll be too hard to do. 2, uncross. 3, cross. 4, uncross. 5, thrust straight in. And this way you can do it with a partner, and it's a really good flow drill. So I'll show you with Sensei Mike. What happens is, do our V bow for Professor Visitation, the founder of the art. And here's what it's going to look like. I'm going to go 1, 2, cross. 3, 4, uncross, down the low ones. 1, 2, cross, low. towards the floor. 3, 4, uncross, and we do thrust and parry, thrust and parry. Okay. So this is something that will take some time to learn, but you can actually start learning it right away. Again, if you have 2 sticks, you can practice against a tree, or somebody can hold up maybe a stick for you to practice with. And this is really the lead-in for what I consider to be the most powerful form of